with another live stream. Live and live. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. All right, Cowboy Nation. All right. We do these shows all the time. We talk and we go back and forth behind enemy lines. You must know your opposition. You must know your opponent. And I will say, the opposition, believe it or not, they got a 2-game lead on us. They beat us when we had Kellen Moore as the quarterback. They beat us when we had Tony Romo as the quarterback. Here I got this special guest, Gang Green _ space David. Shout out to you, man. Let them know who you are, where they can follow you at as well.
Well, Law Nation, what's up, Cowboy Nation? First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to have me on the channel. I really appreciate it. It's my absolute honor. Cowboy fans, if you're interested, whether you're not interested, you could definitely check out my YouTube channel. I am a diehard Jets fan. I am a Jets YouTuber. You could subscribe to my channel, Gang Green David. I go to a lot of games. So I'm a huge Jets fan. I'm a big part of the Jets content creators on YouTube. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at GangGreenDavid1. You can follow me on Instagram at @Ganggreen_David. Message me, I'll message you right back. Love going back and forth with every single one of my subscribers. So let's get into this game. I'm fired up, and I think this is going to be surprisingly better than people could expect. I mean, people think that the Cowboys could destroy us, but I'm going to let you take the floor since it's your team. You can kick things off.
Most certainly, man. Shout out to your Jets, man, for drafting Donald, right? That's his name. One of the better quarterbacks in the league. It's coming out of the league, what have you, out of college, I meant to say. All right, so when you look at his collective skill set, what are some of the good things that you like about him?
Well, when I was doing my quarterback review back in 2018, and you go back to the 2018 draft class, the quarterback class was loaded with talent. You kind of look at a lot of these quarterbacks, and you're thinking that there were plenty of options available from the range of Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, Lamar Jackson, and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So this kid and Sam Darnold, well, first of all, the Jets traded up to number 3 to put themselves in position to get their guy.
Right.
And a lot of fans thought it was going to be someone like Baker Mayfield or Josh Rosen because Sam Darnold was originally supposed to be the number 1 overall pick. Little did we know, Baker Mayfield went to the Browns. Now, I was a huge Baker Mayfield guy, and I really wanted the Jets to get Baker Mayfield because you look at that swagster style that he's got. He's just a very mobile guy, and he's got a cannon of an arm. I know he's struggling right now this year, but his ceiling as a quarterback was definitely high. And then comes Sam Darnold, this USC product, where a lot of people are trying to make the case, well, but all USC quarterbacks are busts, and all USC quarterbacks are trash, and they're never good. Well, here's the thing, though. Every single USC quarterback has played under different schemes, different coaches, and different systems. Sam Darnold was like none other. So when I was looking at this kid and comparing his 2 seasons, Sam Darnold obviously had a breakout year in 2016.
Right.
And compared to his second year, he got sacked 29 times as opposed to 6. So his offensive line production started to dwindle a little bit. So the Jets picked this kid at number 3, which a lot of fans are absolutely thrilled about. Like, I was thrilled about this kid. I was thrilled about this pick, and I was shocked that we even got him because you look at the time when we drafted him, you look at this guy as a blue-collar quarterback with a lot to prove. So any guy who's got a blue-collar mindset is actually a good look to the media, to the New York media, because the New York media, it's the largest media market out there. So you're kind of thinking, well, now you have Sam Darnold. You have a 20-year-old kid with something to prove.
True.
So we went into the season thinking that he was going to go through the growing pains and the learning curves of a rookie quarterback. Boy, did he do that. He had Todd Bowles as his head coach. His top 2 receivers, Robbie Anderson, Quincy Newell, were always getting hurt. The dude was having nobody to throw to. Isaiah Crowe was his running back, and the offensive line was just pretty suspect, although it looked better last year than it did now. So what I like about this kid per se is I like the talent that he has in the pocket. You look at the kid, and his pocket presence is like none other, especially since you're going to need that in if you're playing behind a suspect offensive line. Pocket presence is important. The thing that I like about Sam Darnold is that he's able to keep the play alive. He's able to roll out of the pocket. He's able to utilize his feet. and he's able to find his guy. He's able to get the ball through the tight window, and he's able to make that play efficiently. And you look at a couple of plays like this year and even last year. You go back to the Bill game last year.
Right.
That touchdown pass to Robbie Anderson, he just did everything. That was like Aaron Rodgers' skit where he just ran around everywhere, just keeping the play alive, and he just finally completed a play. Mm-hmm. So he came off the ankle injury, and then you saw the resiliency, you saw the poise in this guy really come out. You saw him start to play better. Coming off that ankle injury, you see him start to look better. So now you go into this Cowboy game where the kid's been battling mono. He came off a very erratic Buffalo Bills game, which included a wild 2-point conversion pass to Le'Veon Bell. Now, this is the biggest story against the Dallas Cowboys is this kid coming off mono. Right. So with Sam Darnold now coming back being the biggest story going into this game, it's a 4:30 game, and it's called by Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, believe it or not, which I cannot even believe. So going into this game against the Cowboys defense that laid an egg against the Packers last week, allowing Aaron Jones to just absolutely go off and just have the Packers offense just become unpredictable. My first concern going into this game is Adam Gase going to be ultra conservative like he's been this year, especially with Sam Darnold. Because if Adam Gase is confident in his quarterback, if Adam Gase is confident that Sam is his guy, and if he's confident that this is Sam's offense, there's absolutely no reason why you cannot maximize his talent. Because with the way our offensive line has played, you need to use your quarterback to the best of his potential. Use his talent. Roll him out of the pocket. Let him extend the play. Let him find his guys. Like I said, he was doing that throughout his final 6 games last year, and he actually, believe it or not, played really, really well. This guy is the absolute truth. And Sam Darnold, while I'm not saying he's going to be our complete savior, because let's face it, that's kind of a long shot with the holes we still have, but he gives us a better chance on offense, especially since we're going up against a Dallas Cowboys team that has one of the best offenses in the league. So Sam Darnold's back. Is Adam Gase going to stay ultra conservative, or is he finally going to maximize his quarterback's talent?
That's some good questionings right there for the Cowboy Nation. I'm looking at most of the chats, and I really appreciate everybody that's here. They're saying that they're more worried about Le'Veon Bell. Now, if I'm the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets, the Gang Green, I would look back at the New Orleans tapes, and I would look at how they utilize Teddy Bridgewater. And what you want to do with Sam Darnold, you don't want to give him too much food to eat, and you don't want to put less food out there. You want to get him comfortable by passing these dink and dunk passes, as well as occasionally putting the ball, well, most of the time, putting the ball in the belly of Le'Veon Bell, who can actually be the bell cow for your team. So I'm looking at this team that we're going to face against the Jets as a team that's going to look at our cover 2 defense. They should be. Sam Darnold should be able to play against this defense because it's a common defense. But everybody flies out to the ball, and if we can jump out on a lead on you all, then that will be very troublesome for your team. How do you feel about your defense?
Well, that's the concern is throughout the season, Adam Gase has really just overworked Le'Veon Bell, and considering that Le'Veon Bell has just done nothing but carry our offense, I'm just wondering now is you can't be utilizing Le'Veon Bell because at the end of the day, good teams like the Cowboys, good teams like the Eagles, the Patriots, teams that we played so far, they're going to find ways to scheme up against them. They can play 8 in the box, and they're going to snuff out Le'Veon Bell, and your offense just becomes more predictable. Yes, you can get the run game going, but if you get the run game going, run some play action and maximize your resources. That's another key I have going in this game because the Jets, I think in my opinion, they have more than just Le'Veon Bell. A lot of people are going to bash the Jets based off their talent, saying, "Oh, the Jets have no receivers. The Jets have nothing. They're complete garbage." Well, while they've been pretty much banged up by injuries, their starting linebacker C.J. Mosley is not playing this game, which I would have loved. They're without their starting tight end and Chris Herndon, which is Sam Darnold's favorite target. You have resources that you could still maximize. You have guys like Ryan Griffin. You have Robbie Anderson, a guy who can run a phenomenal deep route. But granted, you're probably going to see him matched up one-on-one with Byron Jones, but the guy is a pretty good receiver when used properly. The guy had a breakout year. Use him properly. And it might boggle me to hear Adam Gase's press conference saying, "Oh, we haven't been able to get the ball to him. He's been open." Like, get the ball to him. If Sam Darnold's coming back and you see him developing that connection with Robbie Anderson, use that connection. Use that connection to your best of your advantage. You have a number 1 receiver like Robbie Anderson who's in a contract year. He's playing for a contract for crying out loud. Use him. You have Jamison Crowder, a guy who's deadly in the slot, who can get 8-9 catches a game. Use him. Sam and him connected a lot in that Buffalo game week 1. Had like 14 catches for 100 yards, I believe, something like that. You have Demaryius Thomas, who, granted or not, is still a serviceable receiver in my opinion, granted because he's a little bit washed up. And you also have 2 running backs. And I said this in my video. The Cowboys have 2 very talented linebackers in Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch. That, in my opinion, is the absolute core of that Cowboys defense, is those 2 linebackers right there. And the Jets, granted, because they're without their starting tight end, you have 2 other running backs you can use, Ty Montgomery and Bilal Powell. You can use all 3 of them in the same play, and you can kind of nuzzle that core a little bit. Line up Montgomery out wide. Use Bilal Powell and Le'Veon Bell in the jumbo package or the shotgun, whatever you want to do. Use your talent, maximize your talent, and you can find ways to kind of nuzzle the linebacking core a little bit, which is the core of that defense. Now, of course, that defensive line with Robert Quinn and DeMarcus Lawrence, that's going to absolutely scare the hell out of me because this offensive line allowed 10 sacks to the Eagles. I don't think they're going to do that again, but that doesn't discount how talented the Cowboys line is. So I think in this game, maximize your resources, maximize your talent. And if I'm especially with your quarterback back, there's no excuses on Adam Gase here. You're going up against a very talented Cowboys team, which is probably going to be in front of 40,000 Cowboys fans because they're going to take over MetLife Stadium. Let's be real here. So
right. We are prepared to take over
with this quarterback coming back.
Mm-hmm. So you talked a little bit about your offense, and you kind of gauged a little bit on the defense. I think that you guys are 6th overall against the run, and I do know stats or what have you. And you eliminated what's this guy name? Carson Wentz to only 160 yards. So talk to me and educate the nation a little bit about your defense.
Well, believe it or not, as abysmal as our offense has been, our defense has been doing its job. Look at what Greg Williams has done with the limited resources that we've had. C.J. Mosley, the big marquee free agent that the Jets signed from the Ravens, he got signed for like a 5-year, $85 million contract. He got a lot of guaranteed money. We gave C.J. a lot of money, and he got hurt in the Buffalo game, and he's missed pretty much half the season. And we also lost one of our other linebackers for the year, Avery Williamson, to a torn ACL. So in regards to our defense, without Mosley, Quinnen Williams has missed some games, and he came back as well. We lost Jordan Jenkins, who's supposed to be back for this game. Brandon Copeland was off suspension. So we were basically without 3 starters pretty much for at least 2 or 3 games because Mosley got hurt week 1, and he balled out. He balled out before he got hurt, and he was proving how much money he was worth. And having C.J. Mosley back would have been huge for this game because while I've been hearing Ezekiel Elliott has been playing well, maybe the holdout might have nuzzled him a bit, but Ezekiel Elliott is still one of the best running backs in football. Let's face it. And he makes the Cowboys offense look more balanced, especially when you also got guys like Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Randall Cobb who are going up against a secondary, which I'm dangerously concerned by, especially if Tremaine Johnson's in there and he's matched up with Amari Cooper, even a banged-up Amari Cooper, because I know he's been dealing with an ankle injury. Tremaine Johnson's going to get burnt. Let's just go off about it. He's complete trash. He's just
he's subject to the double moves. He's a very aggressive type of corner as well, so that's his issue. He overextends, so it's crazy. But yeah,
right.
You're right.
Right. So having Mosley back in this game, I think, in my opinion, with the pursuit he has against the run, I thought it could have been phenomenal to actually kind of I wouldn't say stop, but sort of maybe neutralize Ezekiel Elliott a little bit. But however, we do have Jordan Jenkins back, and we have Brandon Copeland back, 2 edge rushers that we're desperately going to need. Oh boy, all right, sorry about that.
No worries. Go ahead.
We have I'm sorry. Where was I? Okay. We have Jordan Jenkins back, and we have Brandon Copeland back. Two of our starting edge rushers are coming back this game. And from what I hear Tyron Smith could be playing, but he's not going to be 100%. Leo Collins is dealing with an injury as well. So this could be an opportunity for these guys to actually put up some decent production. And Jordan Jenkins, as phenomenal as a run stopper he can be, he can get after the running back a little bit. And granted, because we've been without these guys, our defense, believe it or not, has been ranked, I believe, 7th against the run. But 21st, granted how trash our corners are, I think we're ranked like 21st, 22nd in passing. And I think we're like maybe 15th, 14th in the league. So our defense is doing its job. Greg Williams is the only coach on our team that's been doing his job because our defense can only hold for so long. Because when your offense is playing like garbage and the defense is out on the field for basically 40 minutes a game, your defense is eventually going to get gassed out. Like, go back to the Brown game. The defense eventually got gassed out when, I wouldn't say gassed out, but they just looked lost because they were tired already at that point when they got burnt by Odell Beckham.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you feel about the Adam kid? You know, I heard that he wanted or requested a trade. And
Jamal Adams?
Yeah, Jamal Adams. How do you feel about him? Do you think that he's worth the grain of salt, or do you think that he should be gone? What do you feel about him?
I love him. I love him. Like, I love him. Like, I hope when we get the chance, we give him every brick and penny he wants. He's one of the best safeties in football. He's one of the best safeties in the league. Like, you can see that guy loves being on the field. And I've met the dude like 3 times, and he's freaking awesome. But I love.
Hey, if you love him, but if he's wanting to go, and you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys roster, who would you trade for him?
I'm not trading him.
You're not trading him at all, right? You wouldn't get rid of him, even though he want to go.
What?
Even though he wants to go, right?
I don't think he wants to go. I mean, the whole thing with the social media thing, I think it's just another outlook for the media to just point some fingers and a whole bunch of nonsense. I mean, granted, because I can get where Jamal Adams is coming from, but I think the whole thing with the social media that he changed his bio, some nonsense like that, and it just became so comical that fans are thinking that he's really requesting a trade. Like, God forbid, because like I love the dude. I mean, he's one of the best players we got. I love the dude. I love the dude coming out of LSU, and I definitely think he was my favorite prospect in that draft. And I couldn't even believe that he fell to the Jets, and we picked him up, and he's just easily produced. Like, the dude can hit hard. You can match him up against one of the best tight ends in the league, against some of the best tight ends in the league. Like, he's been matched up with Gronk, for crying out loud. He can hit hard. The dude knows how to perform on the football field, point blank period, and he's especially phenomenal in the box. So I think Jamal Adams, could be matched up one-on-one against Jason Witten. I think that's definitely something that you look at.
That's a given right there, yeah.
Jamal Adams was put up against Zach Ertz a lot. And Zach Ertz, I think, was only held to like maybe a couple of catches. So that was pretty much that. So I love the dude. That's just plain simple. I mean, I hope he stays a Jet for a long time, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's one of the key caliber players on your team. And when you look at teams like your team is right now, who's struggling to find a win, sometimes they have star players that, somehow one way or another get traded. So with that being said, name some of the players that you really focus on against this game. Are you really concerned about Dak Prescott, or are you not worried at all about him? Name me some of the things about Dak Prescott and other players.
Well, I've said this dozens of times. I've said it on Eagles video makers channels, and I felt like I was going to get come after this for this, but I think Dak Prescott is criminally underrated. I think you kind of look at people. A lot of people are going to say that, like he hasn't won in the playoffs, this and that, but I think people just discount his talent as a quarterback. Now, for a 4th round pick and to where he's gone, and yes, I get it. He has Ezekiel Elliott, but at the end of the day, those two grew as a tandem together. That's what a lot of people don't understand, is that Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott grew as a tandem together. Now, while Ezekiel Elliott is a phenomenal running back, Dak Prescott is a quarterback. I think you kind of look at his frame and you kind of look at his zip on the ball. I think his decision-making is underrated a little bit, especially now with Amari Cooper in the mix. He's looked better, especially since he's able to kind of extend the play. He's also able to get guys open, and I think he's got a pretty underrated arm. Like, his arm is definitely there as well. So watching him throw the ball kind of reminds me of Carson Wentz a little bit in regards to that ball speed, because when you're throwing the ball with such poise and precision, you're just rolling out of the pocket with such precision, and he's got some underrated speed. That's what you want in a quarterback. And you just see the guy continue to grow year after year after year. But however, is he worth $40 million a year? Honestly, I can't say. I don't think so. I do think he's criminally underrated, but there is no way that I'm giving him more money than Aaron Rodgers, than Brady, than Matt Ryan, than all these guys. Like, it would just be impossible. But in regards to
All
this
right,
game,
yeah. Speaking of the money, so Aaron Rodgers is getting probably around 33, 32 million, give or take, and then of course you got Jerry Goffs of the world and Carson Wentz. Would you be like one of the people to just say, hey, let's just give this man $33 to $34 million and just let it be done? Because that's what his contemporaries are getting. I don't think that they are playing like light years ahead of Dak Prescott. Even if you look at Russell Wilson, I think he earned his grain of salt by winning one Super Bowl or being to two Super Bowls collectively, and him getting, I think, a $35 million contract. Wouldn't you say to yourself, hey, Dak Prescott, he's not that far away from them guys, right?
he's not that far away, but
Right.
I wouldn't.
Or he could be like I'm looking at it, Dak Prescott. If you look at the raw stats and you look at the numbers and win totals, I mean, he's beating Jerry Goff. He's beating the Carson Wentz of the world, right?
Right.
So I'm just looking at it from those angles. I would, if I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I'll go ahead and pay him his money. And
So
just,
you're paying him $40 million a year.
no. I'm not saying that you give him 40, but what I'm saying is that I would at least give him in the rounds of 33 to 35 million.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of fair, especially since like you look at the quarterback market nowadays, and you're seeing guys like Jimmy Garoppolo getting banked. You see Kirk Cousins getting banked, and just the market rate for quarterbacks, it's just growing and growing and growing. And I just can't even imagine what Sam Darnold would ask for. I can't even imagine what Baker Mayfield would ask for when it comes to that point. So it's interesting, man, and I can't even wait to see what Dak Prescott
Pat
potentially get paid.
Mahomes is going to get. Yeah.
How much cap space do the Cowboys have going into the offseason?
I think it's around $40 to $50 million. That's how much cap space is expected for them to have. So they have the money,
Yeah, and you guys extended DeMarcus Lawrence, you guys extended Jalen Smith, and you guys extended Zeke. Am I correct?
Right.
Yeah, because like the thing though with the Cowboys is one thing I like about the Cowboys is you look at teams like them, you look at teams like the Seahawks, you look at teams like the Packers, and even the Falcons. They primarily build through the draft. They don't really have to rely exactly on free agency to kind of build. Granted, because on our side, when you have a general manager like Mike McCagnon, he has to overpay for guys to save his job. On the Cowboys end, granted, because they're a team that's just growing into contenders year after year after year, and honestly, they made the postseason last year, got to the divisional round, and got knocked out by the NFC champions, and what was actually a fairly decent game. They build through the draft. Pretty much a lot of those Cowboys players are draft picks. Leighton Vander Esch, draft pick. Jalen Smith, draft pick. Byron Jones, draft pick. DeMarcus Lawrence, draft pick. Dak Prescott, draft pick. Ezekiel Elliott, draft pick. Cole Beasley, draft pick. I can go on and on and on. But cohesive teams get built through the draft. Now, like free agency, I think, in my opinion, is just that kind of flexible piece to where you can just provide more flexibility around your draft picks. And that's where guys like Amari Cooper come in. Because when you have that veteran presence like Amari Cooper, who's experienced at the number one receiver, and you just know that he could fit that Cowboys offense, and look what he's done. He started struggling a little bit in Oakland when he started dropping balls because I don't know what Derek Carr was doing, whether he was overthrowing or whatever. But Amari Cooper has become one of the more deadly receivers with the Cowboys. Like, you just see that Amari Cooper can fit with the Cowboys, especially with the schemes that are being run over there, how they're using their receivers, and the way that Dak Prescott's getting the ball to him. So, at the end of the day, you're building through the draft, and going up against this team that has talent that's grown through the draft, it's gonna be very interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, you're playing against a team that methodically manipulate the draft to our likings. And also, I do know that Cole Beasley played for the Bills. He was just speaking about, I think you were speaking from the parameters of home build, right? And Cole Beasley was one of those guys that was walked on. So he was a walk-on, basically, and that was somebody saying in the comment box. But I'm thinking what you're saying is that basically our form or the Cowboys system is that they like to build from within. They're not really reaching out to free agency, and they're not really going out for other teams' players outside of the Amari Cooper, who they were able to bring inside, and all of a sudden he blossomed. And I think that comes from, I guess, the overall temperament, change of scenery, change of pace, change of a whole lot of things that the Cowboys were then able to identify his strengths and minimize his weaknesses. So I think that, yeah, Amari Cooper is a good deal. And yes, the Cowboys collectively over the past 5.5 years been doing a great job as it relates to scouting. Now, when you look at your team collectively, you guys, you did a lot of play with free agency, spent a lot of money, had to get rid of some guys before their time because of the things that you did. I think you got 1 year. What was the kid that was bipolar? I forgot his name. Marshall. Is it Brandon Marshall?
Brandon Marshall.
I know it's a long time ago, but Brandon Marshall was one of those acquisitions that you picked up from the Denver Broncos, I believe, right?
Wait, I'm trying to. We picked up Brandon Marshall from the Bears.
From the Bears, I meant to say. Yeah. So what I'm thinking about is I'm going all the way back. What makes you guys hurt during the long term as it relates to salary cap by going out reaching for players, basically, right?
Yeah, Band-Aids.
Band-Aids, Band-Aids on a bullet wound. I say this all the time. Sometimes when you look at a team and you look at the collective picture of a team and you'll say to yourself, man, if only we didn't reach this much or spent that much money on this particular player, maybe we can go out there and dance for a real player, you see. But neither here nor there, the history of the Jets in the last few years when they played the Dallas Cowboys, everything been tight and close. I remember when Kellen Moore played against you all, and Dez Bryant was able to sneak in for a touchdown, but it was a hard-fought game, and then they had to end up, I think Kellen Moore, they end up benching the other quarterback that we had, and this was 2015. Yeah.
The Jets won that game. Granted, we won the game, but they slept-walked that game.
Yes, indeed. So my thing is, I never doubt a team. Not saying that the Jets we're going to roll up there in MetLife Stadium. Is it MetLife Stadium, right?
Yes.
It's the name of the stadium. Not saying that we're going to roll up there and we're going to put 40 on the board and you guys are going to be left with 3 points. That would be a nice thing. But what I'm saying is that
our offense doesn't play up to par.
Right. So what I'm saying is that your team is a well-talented team. They just didn't put everything together. And Adam Gase, to me personally, I don't know how he was. Are you sold on that coach? Because
no,
you're not sold on him, right? Why did you guys pick him up? Why did you guys? You saw what he was doing down there in Miami land, right? Why did you guys pick him up?
I'll tell you exactly why we picked him up. I will tell you exactly why we picked him up. Mm-hmm. The reason why we picked up Adam Gase is because he was the only coach out of every single coaching candidate that we interviewed. I'm sorry, I can't speak. He was the only coaching candidate that we interviewed that was able to, A, save Mike McCagnon's job at the time, which eventually Adam Gase ran him out of town, and right. B, he was the only coach that was willing to give up full control of the 53-man roster, because we interview guys like Mike McCarthy, Matt Rule. Well, Mike McCarthy was my guy. Mike McCarthy was the guy that I wanted to bring in because, let's face it, he won a Super Bowl with draft picks, let's face it, and he grew one of the best quarterbacks for our generation, Aaron Rodgers. The resume says it all. And even though he had an iffy year last year, I sure as hell would have preferred him over some ultra conservative, eye rolling. Dude, look at the eyes.
Yeah.
I looked at that. I was like, dude, this is the guy that's going to develop my quarterback. I was shocked. I couldn't even believe we got this guy. And he was the only coach that was willing to give up control of the personnel, because every single coaching candidate we hired wanted to have full control of the 53-man roster. A lot of these coaches do nowadays. And a lot of these coaches that we interview, especially Mike McCarthy, if you wanted to take a risk on a coach, I would have much rather taken a risk on an Eric Bieniemy or a Todd Monken or even a Matt Rule, any college coach. I would rather have taken a risk on over some clown in Adam Gase, who, believe it or not, he was very ultra conservative with Miami. He was just terrible with the Miami Dolphins. But as a Jet fan, I had to buy in. I had to support it. And I thought, maybe he'll learn from his mistakes. Maybe with the younger quarterback, he'll turn it around. And and ever since this whole thing started, we're decimated by injuries. Of course, we've had a lot of guys out. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, good coaches find ways to come up with sufficient game plans. And Adam Gase doesn't do that, because if you look at a lot of the game plans that we run, It's basically run Le'Veon Bell, pass to Le'Veon Bell, punt. Run a Le'Veon Bell, run a Le'Veon Bell, sack, punt. Yeah. Run the ball, Le'Veon Bell, sack, punt, or false start, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, we're having a tough time just getting past the 50-yard line because the third-string quarterback was obviously in there, and Luke Falk is complete trash. Right. And God forbid we run the next game with him, and I would have been like, yeah, I'm throwing in the towel, season's over. But like I said earlier, with Sam coming back now, there's no excuses left. There is no excuses. I get you're without your tight end now, which is Sam's favorite target, but there's no excuses left. There is absolutely no reason why you need to be running Le'Veon Bell into the ground, especially, like I said, you have two other running backs. You have talented receivers in Robbie Anderson, Jamison Crowder, Demaryius Thomas, Braxton Berrios, whatever you want. Maximize your resources. Adam Gase, you should not be afraid to use his quarterback to his fullest of potential. And that's, like I said, I don't want him going into this game with that same conservative game plan, especially if you're playing in your home crowd, which is probably going to be taken over by Cowboys fans anyway. So
yeah, we traveled deep. We traveled deep. So, man, it was wonderful talking to you, man, especially going back and forth with our philosophy of team and your philosophy of team. I like to do this, and I don't know if you like to do this, but I always like to put out score predictions. You prepare to put out your score prediction against the game, Dallas Cowboys versus the Gang Green?
All right, this is a tough one. Well, when I did my schedule prediction, I actually, believe it or not, had the Jets winning this game. Right. Granted, with a fully healthy roster. But now, this is obviously a more winnable scenario for the Jets, especially with their quarterback coming back. This is definitely a much more winnable game, especially since they're going up against a team with two tough losses on the road, right, and they're going up against a team that is trying to looks like they can make a statement. But this could be a trap game for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not saying it will be, but it could be. I think with Sam back, if Adam Gase gets, if Adam Gase actually does play competent offense, and the defense stays consistent like it's always been.
Right.
I think there's a possibility we can win this game. Like I said, with competent offense, if you want to go with my gut prediction, and I know everyone in the chat's going to probably call me delusional, but just hear me out. Hear me out. Obviously, listen, I'm just a fan, and if you think I have no idea what I'm talking about, then fine by me. But like I said, with competent offense, with Sam coming back, the offensive line hopefully doing its job, and Adam Gase maximizing his opportunities and the defense staying consistent, I could say the Jets win this game by a game-winning field goal. But if we come out flat again, like we've had in past couple of weeks, I could see maybe something like maybe 30-13 Cowboys if Adam Gase is going to be ultra conservative. Like I said, it all comes down to how Adam Gase maximizes his quarterback's talent. That's what it comes down to. If the offense makes a complete 180 and starts actually turning this around, especially when you're going up against a talented Cowboys offense, you could win this game. This is a very winnable game for the Jets, especially coming back home. Your quarterback's coming back. You're getting two starters on defense back. There is no reason why you should not be playing competitive football. And there's no reason why you don't have a shot to win this game. So that's just my opinion on that.
So Cowboys win by a field goal. Or no, the Jets win by a field goal. As you were saying,
if we have competent offense, if not,
it'd be 30-13, right? That's what you're saying.
Cowboys. Yeah, there's a very real chance that this game could go right down the hill, and it could just go all Cowboys if Adam Gase just comes out flat again, which could be a real possibility. But I'm going my mind says 30-13, my gut says 23-20 Jets. But it all comes down to how Gase operates with his quarterback.
Yeah, I said earlier this week, Cowboys get 17 and you guys have 13. It'll be a defensive type of game, and it'll be one of those games that the Cowboys snake away towards the latter part of the game. But that's just what it is for right now. But back-to-back losses for my team. And I know all of the people saying you can't spell Dallas without back-to-back L's. So, from my opinion, there's no 3 L's in Dallas. So, I'm looking at this as a win. But neither here nor there. I don't think that our coaching staff have the longitude and latitude to lose this game. So, this will be a game that the Dallas Cowboys will show their dominance, and we'll have a grandiose time with Amari Cooper catching the ball all over the field. And that's just the only thing. Yeah. So it's going to be like a lights out game for Amari Cooper. Just be ready for that, and just be ready for it, man. But good luck to your team until they play my team, right?
I'm going to be out at the game, so
you're gonna be there. You know which section you want to tell everybody where you're gonna be at, or you just gonna sneak off in there?
No, I don't know where I'm going to be at for the game. I still got to get my tickets, but I won't be surprised if there's going to be 40,000 Cowboys fans taking over that stadium.
Right.
It's going to be a wild madhouse over there.
Yes,
but it's America's favorite. It's America's team, obviously, and granted, like I said, there's no discount of the talent you guys have.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm ready. I'm ready to see Sam back, and I'm ready to see hopefully some competent offense, and I'm ready to see hopefully a very competitive game. And if we somehow come out of this game with the win, this would be huge.
Yes, indeed. Hey, since you said the America's team, I have to mention the New England Patriots. How do you feel about playing them twice a year? Do you think, because what I can see from my eyes, that the next emerging team that's out of your division once Tom Brady ever retire is the Buffalo Bills. They looking like they're sharp. They're good on defense. Their offense looking like they just clicking right along. How do you feel about the New England Patriots and the rest of your team's division? What team?
Well, listen, granted, because obviously they're a divisional rival. We play them twice a year, and
right.
Throughout my time as a Jets fan, like I have watched the Jets actually come out victorious against the Patriots. Like my first ever Jet game, like my first game I ever went to was against the Patriots, and we actually won the game. This was Geno Smith's rookie year.
Wow.
But granted, because as much as it sucks having to watch them win the division constantly every year, you can't discount as basically this kind of big Goliath of the NFL, to where like you're thinking like 8-9 straight NFC championships.
Mm-hmm.
They've won, I think, like what Brady's accomplished. There's no discounting what Bill Belichick has accomplished, and there's no discounting what a lot of players can have been able to provide on the New England Patriots. So it sucks having to play them twice a year, and
right.
especially if we're playing them at home, play them tough. But it's very credible what they've been able to accomplish.
Most certainly, yeah. And I was going to ask you about the Bills, but we're going to wrap this thing up, man. For those who need to know more information on the Jets, tell them where they can find you at, man.
Well, I mean, first of all, thank you, Ball Nature, for having me on. Thank you, Cowboys fans in the chat for being humble with me. I definitely look forward to this game Sunday, but please check out my YouTube channel. You could check me out, Gang Green David. I am a diehard Jets fan. I am a Jets video maker. I go to all games. I do Jets analysis. I do Jets breakdowns. So definitely subscribe to my channel and check out my content. I promise you guys won't be disappointed. I think you love my videos. It's up to you, but I highly encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel. Also, if you have not subscribed to Law Nation, he's a very humble guy, and I cannot thank him enough for having me on today. This is definitely a fun preview, like probably one of my most fun previews I've done yet. So, like I said, subscribe to Gang Green David on YouTube. You can follow me on Twitter at GangGreenDavid1. You can follow me on Instagram at gangreen_David. And best of luck to the Cowboys. I look forward to playing them. I know Eagles fans have been messaging me saying, I hope we beat you guys. But like I said, I just hope at the end of the day, I'm hoping for a very competitive game. Obviously, may the best team win. There's obviously a must win on both of our ends. And I can't wait to play you guys. And then I wish you guys the best of luck going forward for the rest of the year. Win or lose, I want nothing but competitive football. And that's that.
I'm so glad you mentioned competitive football, man, because the officials, regardless of how we look at it, they've been sticking their toe too much in the water, and we just want to see these two teams compete naturally. We don't want the officials to have their hand into the mix, good or bad, you see. So just call a clean game and let this thing go. And Cowboy Nation, support this guy, man. It's not an easy job to do YouTube videos. It's not. It's a difficult task, especially if you're a Jets fan, because by you saying that you are a Jets fan, that let me know and let everybody know that's in the chat box. I don't have a lot of people watching today, but those who want to watch this on rewind, man, that let a lot of people know that you're no bandwagoner, you know. You mean that? I mean, you just still supporting your team regardless of the highs and lows. And I can guarantee you, there's not a lot of people that can just stand firm and say, hey, I am a Jets fan, you see. So continue to grind, man. Continue to shine.
Like, I'm not just a Jets fan.
Right.
I am a diehard Jets fan.
There you go. Correct me. Diehard Jets fan. Not just a guy just walking around talking about, hey, Rex Ryan era, we was happy. Yeah.
I'm a young fan. I'm a young fan, and I've been a fan for 10 years.
Wow.
But the passion I put in my team, I go to training camp, I go to games, I buy merch, and I do videos the best way I could because I love talking about my team. I love talking football. It's fun. So, like, I support my team the best way I can, and I try to go out to games even when we're terrible. So, like, I watch my team, I support my team when we're terrible. Like, all 3 years I've been on YouTube, it's been 5-11, 5-11, and 4-12. So that's been easy, but I'm running it out. I'm running and dying with my team right here on this shirt right here.
Yes, indeed. Guys, you all see it right there. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content. Let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune into sports talk and beyond. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to the Jets.
Go Jets, baby.
We out. Good show, man. Real good show, man.
That was great.